A team of archaeologists came to Egypt to find a pyramid buried thousands of years ago. The pyramid is believed to be older than the pyramids that existed at that time. They entered the pyramid even though it was forbidden, until finally something terrible happened in there. In 2013, Egypt experienced problems in its country. There was a riot in Cairo. Demonstrators and authorities clashed until it was impossible for the documentary team to go to the discovery of the pyramid. But in order to get accurate information, they finally dared to arrive there. This woman is named Suni, with her cameraman named Fitzy. At that location, there were many local diggers led by Dr. Holden. Suni interviewed him to find information related to the discovery of the pyramid. Holden also did not expect his team to find a pyramid that was believed to have been buried for thousands of years. Even the pyramid was older than the pyramids that exist today. Holden and his daughter, named Nora, also provided information related to the pyramid. With today's technology, they can easily identify how big and wide the pyramid they found is, buried deep in the earth. Through satellite imagery, they can explain the possibility that the pyramid was built during the time of the Egyptian gods. Besides them, Nora also has an Egyptian acquaintance, and he is a technology expert named Zahir. Zahir borrowed a robot from NASA with a camera that can take them into the pyramid. This technology is only owned by NASA and is not for sale, so Zahir must return it intact. The next morning, Holden received news that the diggers had found a way into the pyramid. Finally, they were able to find out and document what was inside. Unfortunately, when it was opened, a lot of blue smoke came out, hitting one of the diggers. The man immediately had a seizure and had to be rushed to the hospital. This made Holden slightly discouraged from entering the pyramid. Then, not long after, they received news from the government that they were ordered to withdraw from the research. The atmosphere in Egypt was not conducive. Holden and Nora were asked to return and postpone what they were doing. Holden could not do anything because this was an order from the government. But Nora said otherwise. Nora did not want their efforts all the way there to not get results. Nora continues to convince her father to find out the contents of the pyramid. They don't need to go in. They can use Zahir's robot and monitor it from the monitor. In the end, Holden was persuaded by Nora and conducted research by sending Zahir's robot. But problems arise again. A soldier asks them to leave the location because they have been ordered to stay away from the pyramid area. Zahir is the only one who can speak Egyptian, so he begs the soldier to be allowed to research using a robot. In the end, they are given 2 hours after that they have to leave. The robot had been sent into the pyramid. There they were immediately greeted by many paintings that had meaning. Only Holden and Nora had the ability to read the paintings. The deeper they went in, the more problems arose. Zahir's robot experienced interference as if something had grabbed it. The robot had even lost control. They thought this must be the work of a stray dog that had entered the pyramid. Zahir couldn't leave the robot in there and had to take it. Holden had warned them not to be there for long, but Zahir still wanted to take it because NASA would ask for compensation for the robot if it didn't return. After a long debate, Holden and Zahir finally decided to take the robot. But Nora and the others also wanted to come along. Then the soldier reappeared and asked them to leave. Zahir again asked for a 2-hour grace period because to get their robot that was trapped inside. They were allowed again. Their adventure begins here. They must wear masks to protect them from the poisonous gas in the pyramid. Nora did not forget to make a rope path so they would not get lost. A few minutes they entered. Zahir found the robot pieces. Some of them had to find the rest. Nora saw an entrance above them, a small corridor, but they could enter one by one. There they found some ancient relics, one of which was a war tool. Then, not long after, Nora saw the rope she made as a sign was broken. This would be a problem. An argument occurred between them and they blamed each other. Now they have to go down and back. The problem is, which way should they go? They have different opinions until they choose the path chosen by Nora. Nora is sure this is the way out. But unfortunately, it's just a dead end. There's nothing there. but they found the remaining pieces of the robot shattered. Zahir will definitely be asked to replace it. Of course, he doesn't have that much money. When they were going to find another way, suddenly the floor they were standing on cracked. They had to be careful, but the cracks got wider, and in the end they fell down. Now, they are getting further from the way out. The problem didn't stop there. Zahir was hit by a large rock from above until it crushed his feet. The rock was so heavy that even some people couldn't move it. There was nothing they could do to Zahir. Nora just gave him a drink, hoping that Zahir wouldn't panic and could survive until they got help. Meanwhile, Suni found a small passage above her head. It seemed like the passage was another way out. Suni tried to climb up with Fitzy's help. When she was up there, it turned out that the passage was getting smaller and couldn't be entered by humans. Then Suni saw an ancient cat until the cat scratched Suni's face. Suni fell and told what she had just seen. In addition, they saw some wood holding a door. There must be a reason why the wood was holding the door, but Suni was too tired there and asked them to remove the wood and go through the door. That's all they could do. Zahir was left there temporarily. Who knows where else the passage would take them. Then, not long after they heard Zahir's screams, when Holden and Nora checked, it turned out that Zahir was gone and there were traces of blood. Suni was increasingly convinced that they were in serious trouble. It seemed they were not alone. An argument ensued there, but Nora asked them to keep moving because something was coming towards them. At the end of the hallway, it turned out that there were soldiers who were looking for their whereabouts. The soldiers helped them to escape, but it turned out that the soldiers were actually victims of a large creature with sharp claws. The soldiers were pulled until they were no longer visible. Sure enough, this further proved that they were in quite a big problem. They had to turn off the lights so they wouldn't be seen. What creature pulled the soldiers? After feeling calm enough, they finally tried to move again. Then Fitzy saw something wrong with Suni's face. The claw marks spread and her eyes started to turn red. They didn't have time for that, so the journey continued and they arrived at a hallway with lots of snake head ornaments. Holden accidentally made one of the stones move until quite a lot of sand came out of the snake's head. They had to hurry away from there, and the door was closed again. Nora, who was at the back, was almost buried by the sand, while Suni, who reached the end first, was surprised in front of her. There was a trap in the form of a sharp stone. Fitzy accidentally pushed Suni until Suni fell and got stuck in the trap. Not only that, ancient cats appeared and tried to eat Suni. After Hold lit the flare, the cats ran away. They tried to save Suni, but in vain. Suni was stuck very hard, and it only made Suni more painful, and in the end Suni died. Now they are getting smaller, and the way back is getting harder. The pyramid is like a maze. Not only that, Holden also has problems. It turns out that the poisonous gas is eating away at their bodies more and more. Nora is of course worried about her father's condition. The journey must continue. This time, Hold finds a door and manages to break the code until a secret room opens. A room that contains something like a coffin made of stone. There they find the body of a man who seems to have been there for a long time. His chest looks hollow. His heart is also missing. There is a notebook left near the body. The man's body turns out to be from 1897. The room is a burial chamber, and in that room, there is a way out of the pyramid. Not long after Hold is attacked from behind by the mysterious creature, his heart is pulled out by him. Fitzy pulls Nora to escape from there. There is nothing they can do to Holden. Unfortunately, their entrance is also closed. Now they really give up. There is no Holden and no way out. They have to turn off the lights so they are not tracked by the mysterious creature. Fitzy doesn't know what to do anymore, so she goes to the monster and sees it using an infrared camera. The monster eats Holden's heart. Then the monster leaves the room past Nora. Nora and Fitzy try again to find a way out written in the notebook. Nora begins to bring the paintings in the burial chamber. The room has a way out of the pyramid, Once explored, they finally find the way out. A corridor with stairs in it, but the monster comes back and pulls Fitzy. Nora is now alone and manages to climb, but she's pulled by the monster and tied to a tree to take her heart. The monster turns out to be Anubis, half wolf, half human. Anubis will eat the hearts of humans who are still pure to release the curse. Until now, he still hasn't got it. Nora is cornered, but she manages to escape, thanks to a knife from the war tool that was taken from the previous room. Nora is surrounded by Anubis and the cats, but it turns out that the cats attack Anubis. Seeing that opportunity, Nora climbs out again and manages to get to the exit and then faints. When she wakes up, she sees a small child coming to her. She asks for help, but Anubis is behind her.